Hey, what's good, champions? Arian, Tyson here. Just wanted to shoot this video. Just finished my workout and I am sore because I have not worked out in quite some time. Had a lot going on mentally, and for some reason, it's been a struggle to get up and go to the gym, but I was able to get up and go to the gym this morning. And so I wanted to shoot this video because while I was at the gym, some thoughts came to my head, and I just wanted to share them because I believe that it would be of encouragement and blessing to someone else. And what I want to share with you all is this. And I thought a lot about this while I was working out this morning, because I literally had not worked out in, it would have been 2 weeks as of this coming Monday, but it wasn't a full 2 weeks. But nevertheless, as someone who normally goes to the gym, 5, sometimes 6 days a week, just been in a funk, so to speak. And I want to tell you something. Stop letting things disqualify you from your greatness. Stop letting things disqualify you from your greatness. Everybody has greatness in them. Everybody. And instead of letting things disqualify you from your greatness, use the things that were actually meant to break you. I'm a firm believer in transparency. And if you have watched my videos over the years, I talk about the importance of being transparent, because that's what's going to help you stand out. Because the things that have happened in your life, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're indifferent, are part of your story. And if you remove any part of that, the story turns out different. But you are the common denominator in everything that's happened in your life. So just own it. And people walking around wearing masks, acting like they're holier than thou, acting like they're perfect. And the reality is, no one is perfect. All of us are scarred. All of us have scars. Some have more scars than others. But the way to really know that you're over something is to actually be able to talk about it, not trying to bury it and say that I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it. If you're over it, you're actually able to talk about it. That's how you know when someone is not over something, when they refuse to talk about it, because the questions are going to come up. I get it all the time. You're 38 years old. You have no kids. You haven't been involved with someone in several years. Well, that requires me sharing my story. It requires me talking about how 2016 was the worst year of my life. It requires me to talk about how within less than 6 months, my father suddenly died, and then my ex-wife abandoned me. How I literally went to work one Friday morning and then get a text on a Friday afternoon saying that she decided to go home. She couldn't even tell me to my face. And the reason being is because she falsely accused me of cheating on her, which I did not cheat on her. There was no sexual contact. There was no infidelity. So, and I've seen many instances where there have been folks who have cheated. There have been folks who have had babies as a result of the infidelity, and they're still together. So to be falsely accused of something in the midst of grieving multiple deaths within a short period, back to back to back to back to back, but the biggest one was my father. When I'm working 2 jobs, I'm basically paying 80 to 90% of the bills. And because literally I go to a concert, which is my first phase of getting back to some type of normalcy. And you choose not to go. And you choose not to go because you would rather focus on business stuff when you had a 3-month notice. And you just leave. You don't want to go to counseling. You excommunicate me. You excommunicate the pastors that we was under at the time. You excommunicate everybody that has something to do with me, who did not even know what was going on. That's how they found out something was going on, because all of a sudden you blocked everybody and you never even said goodbye. And the thing is, nobody in your family even questioned me. And the thing is, I have 2 older brothers who are very protective of me, even though I'm bigger than them, right? And if something happens to me, they're asking questions. So that's a little strange. And basically, looking back on it, she was looking for a way out. And unfortunately, I gave her a way out because she left while I was at work. And we have not spoken since then. And so when a person continues to be ignored, you got to make the hard decision. You got to move forward. And in the case of me being transparent, she left. She chose to leave. She chose to abandon ship. But for some reason, she didn't file for the divorce. I did. That's me being as transparent as I could possibly be. Because when someone ignores you for 7 months, they don't want to be bothered with you. So I really didn't get any real closure, but I do know that there is life after. So I got hit with a lot of stuff in 2016, but a lot of great things have come out of that. I became an author. I've traveled to different places. I've seen 3 different countries since all that happened. I've wrote a book and I'm working on my 2nd book. Own what has happened. Use the things that were meant to break you. Use your mistakes. One of the things that I made a mistake of is putting every person that I've dated on a pedestal. When the reality is, they feel that because they're on a pedestal, that there is a lack of respect that they have for me. And I had to learn that the hard way. Because men nowadays, we have to deal with unrealistic expectations. And the reality is, when it all boils down to it, I've learned to use the things that were supposed to work against me as the things that end up working for me. And I realized that in the aftermath of me, losing my father suddenly, which really is something that never truly heals, because it was a lot of things that were undone. It was a lot of things that were left unfinished. But you have to keep moving. You have to keep moving forward as best you can. The journey was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be possible. And so you can only make helpful changes in your life if you make the choice and make the decision to focus on the things that are within your control. It was not in my control that she decided to leave when I was at work. And instead of me worrying my brain about how did she get out of town and so on and so forth, the fact is you made a choice. And for some reason, society has taught us that if a man is wrong, he has to fix it. But somehow, if a woman's wrong, there's no accountability. The question becomes, well, what did you do to make them do that? No. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Now, I've owned what I could have done. Yet, even if things changed, she was looking to leave anyway. Because people have this mentality where they want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage. And that's something I learned the hard way. Because for someone to leave when you're grieving, and they've never lost a parent, so they don't know that pain. But if you never lost a parent and you have a significant other or a spouse who is dealing with the loss of a parent, it is not your responsibility to understand. It is your responsibility to be there, whether you're the husband or the wife. It's to be there. They're not expecting you to understand if you have never had to walk down that road. But they don't want to see that. So what happens is, by constantly worrying about the things that are out of your control, you will only make yourself miserable. And I've gone through that phase. I went through that phase while the divorce was going on. Because what the enemy will do is put those thoughts in your head saying that it's your fault. You did this, had you, so on and so forth. And the reality is, the worst thing that you can do is beat yourself up. And I'm not telling you something I read in a book. I'm speaking from personal experience and it's something I still struggle with. I've gotten better at it. But I am my own worst critic. Nobody is harder on me than me. But I believe in being authentic. I believe in being transparent because there's so many people out here not being transparent, not being honest. There was nothing I could have done to save that. Because when a person's mind is made up, there is nothing you can say. And that's literally the last thing that she said. There is nothing that you can say or do. Your mind is made up. So what's the purpose of fighting for something? What's the purpose of, going to another state to try to find them when they have literally told you that there is nothing that you can say or do? And that's weak. But it is what it is. And in the 5 years almost that since that happened, I've never said a negative word about her. I've never blasted her on social media, never blasted her in my book. Never. All I know is she didn't want to be married. Well, I guess she wasn't expecting to happen. What happened. Well, hell, I wasn't expecting my father to suddenly die 3 months into the marriage. But I had to deal with it. I wasn't expecting my cousin to die less than a month into the marriage, who died of cancer at 18 years old. But you have to deal with it. So I had to deal with it. And I don't care how saved, sanctified you are. When you have that amount of pain that happens back to back to back, when you're seeing people your own age that you went to school with die of heart attacks. I don't care how much God you have in you. You're a spirit first. And you're a fallible spirit. That's going to hurt you. That's going to affect you. And ultimately it's going to change you. Because you see your own mortality. So I've been through that phase where I began to be miserable. And misery don't always love company. For me, I withdraw. because I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to sit there and, pour all my stuff that I'm dealing with on someone else. That's not fair to them. And to me, if you have not healed, you don't have any business being in a relationship. So even after everything was finalized, I literally waited an entire year afterwards until I even considered dating or going on a date. So I had to do what was best for me. Because what will happen is, if you're not careful, you will fall into a downward spiral of negativity. But if you focus on the things you can control, if you focus on your attitude, if you focus on your efforts and your behaviors, you will be able to create meaningful changes in your life. And by all means, align your actions with your beliefs, because what you accept in your life has the ability to control your life. And that's why it's so important for each and every last one of us to not only know ourselves, but to love ourselves. And people don't love themselves and the biggest reason they don't love themselves, because that requires you to hold yourself accountable. That requires you to be honest with yourselves. And people don't want that. They're too busy focusing on what they see and trying to live their life vicariously through someone else. But you have a life to live. And you are responsible for you. But you have to be realistic. And accepting less should always be unacceptable. And if it's not moving you forward, if the situation that you're in is not moving you forward, let it go. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let it hold you back. Because you don't know when it becomes here's the call and for ours to answer. We don't know. So we have to have a sense of urgency, but we have to be honest with ourselves. And I was having a conversation with my pastor last night. And I've been very honest with him about the things that I've been feeling lately. Because I'm in a position where I see very little upside in regards to things that I'm dealing with, in regards to individuals I might have an interest in. And that's just me being honest. But at the end of the day, you have to know that you are responsible for the choices you make. And every choice has consequences. And, at this point, I'll say it, because I'm keeping it 120. I don't know if I'm going to have kids. I really don't. And I don't really see ultimately the purpose of it. My father's gone. My mother's sick. And honestly, it hurts me because my mother raised 3 sons. She always wanted a daughter. She don't even have granddaughters. She has 2 grandsons. Obviously, neither one is, I'm not the product of either one of them. But it's just to a point where I can be honest enough to say it. And because too many games have been played. Too many games have been played. And many times people want too much that they're not willing to give. And I've been guilty of putting the folks I've dated on a pedestal. And I'm big on reciprocity. And so many times things have not been reciprocated. They expect perfection, and I just can't do that. And yeah, I've been able to not have kids. So I'm not a baby daddy. I don't have to worry, they don't have to worry about if I shot somebody's club up. But at the end of the day, it's not my decision on if someone wants to have a child with me. Because for me, I've always been of the mindset the marriage has to come first before children. And what's difficult is my ex-wife and I talked about having children. We sat down, we planned it. So I'm a firm believer that, yeah, you can make plans and your plans can go up in smoke. And then for them to just walk away so easily. Can't make this stuff up. But I know that it's Saturday, but I just wanted to share that with you. I'm about to get the rest of my day going. I apologize for the length of this video, but I believe in being transparent. I believe in being authentic and owning the things that have happened, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because there's a lesson in everything that we go through. If you got value from this video, feel free to like, comment, and share this video. If you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always in life, you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson, the Movie Motivator, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.